What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a first for me. This is going to be my first ever story time. Actually, no, I did kind of a story time in my mukbang, but this is going to be my very first solo story time video, and that's because you guys requested it when I did my apartment tour a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. I asked if you guys wanted a story time on my first apartment horror, like nightmare, and that's actually the apartment we're sitting in right now. Still here. Still kicking. So yeah, basically in today's video, I'm just going to tell you kind of the story and all of the shit that I've gone through in this apartment. It has definitely been a trip. So yeah, without any further ado, let's just get right into the story. I don't even know how to do a story time, but we're gonna see if I know I'm horrible at telling stories, so we'll see how this goes. I decided kind of on a whim to move out. So 2 years ago, I had just graduated college and I had gotten like an actual real job, like with health benefits and like a salary and all that other shit. So when I realized I was like making my own money, I was like an actual adult, I was like, I should probably move out of my parents' house, because I had never lived anywhere else, like literally had never lived anywhere other than the bedroom I lived in. So I started looking on like Zillow, like started looking for apartments online, and I went and saw my banker, and he told me that that based on my income I should be renting like 50% of my income basically. So I started looking around that price range online, and I wasn't really finding anything that was like nice at all. But one day I came across this apartment on Zillow, and it was in my price range, and it looked huge, and it just looked like all the pictures looked pretty nice. They didn't look like brand spanking new. It wasn't like anything to blow my socks off, but it was also 10 blocks away from my parents' house. So I was like, oh, perfect location, perfect price. It's a 1-bedroom, like big 1-bedroom, and it was only just me at the time. Me and Meech were dating, but we damn sure weren't gonna move in together. Like we weren't even like official yet. So I found it online, and I was like, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, do you want to come see this apartment with me tonight? She's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, you're moving out? And I was like, maybe, like, let's just go see it. So I got home from work that day. I like scheduled like a viewing with like the realtor. So then we came and saw the apartment, and to me, like, I was just so excited to like have a chance to move out that I was like head over heels in love with it. And it was like gross in here. Like the lights weren't even like installed yet. The problems I'm going to talk about in this video are like happening right now. So we came in and we saw how big it is, and like there were some things that I like wasn't really fond of, but I was like, you know what, it's my first apartment, like fuck it, like it's my own place. I don't care about those things, like it doesn't matter, it's my own place. Anyway, long story short, I ended up getting the apartment like the next day or so. Like, I don't know, within the next few days I made an offer and I signed my lease by like the next weekend. And my parents actually weren't here, they were in Florida, so I had my aunt come and sign the lease with me, and then I got the keys and we moved all my stuff in, and everything was all fine and dandy. I was really loving living alone. Like I really loved having my own space. It was great. So I would say like the first month or so, like there were really no problems, or first 2 months actually, there were like no problems. I moved in November 1st, 2016. So when I first moved in, the first problem I ran into was that on the lock on the door was like completely loose. Like literally every time you turn the key, it became looser and looser. And I'm literally on the first floor in the lobby. Like the moment you walk into the building, I'm the first apartment you see. So God forbid there was ever like a burglar or somebody that wanted to break in, or like somebody that was like following me home or something. Like it was so easy to break into my apartment, because literally the lock would just like fall apart. And I like asked my super about it, I contacted the management about it, and nobody did anything about it for like the first like 2 or 3 weeks. Finally the super came and fixed the lock, but even still, like the lock isn't that secure. Like I ended up putting like my own screws in it because he like left some screws out. Like it was a whole big mess, and like still to this day I like turn my key and I'm like, are you actually working? I'm not exactly sure. I probably shouldn't tell the internet this, just in case anybody knows where I live and they want to like break in. But no, it actually does work. But it was my first apartment. I was on my own. I was living here alone at the time. I'm a girl. I'm young. Like people, you know, like I was just a little bit worried about it, but that got fixed, thankfully. But for like 2 weeks, I would just be at work like every day, like somebody's gonna break in and get my dog. Somebody is gonna break in, steal my dog, steal my TV, like just take all my shit, probably all my makeup. But that was just the first little problem. I was like, you know what? It's an old building, like shit like this happens, doesn't matter. Like it's fixed now, it's fine. So then the holidays roll around. I actually hosted my family for Christmas here. Like we had a Christmas party here on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Day, me and Meech woke up really really, really early, and we actually went to DC to see his family, and it was my first time meeting the family. So we like packed up all our shit and we went with the crack of fucking dawn, Christmas morning. We took a bus down to DC, and because my dog was still here and because like my apartment was like new, like my mom, I didn't really care to leave the apartment like on its own, just like send my dog to like my parents' house or whatever. But my mom was like, no, like you're gonna be gone for like a few days, you should have somebody there just in case anybody tries anything, especially with like the lock issue. So she was like, it's okay, your brother will go and stay there. So I'm like, okay, whatever, like that's fine. So then it's like 2 days after Christmas, so like 2 days I'd been gone, and so my mom calls me and me and Meech are driving, so I answer the phone and she's like, Ashley, I have some bad news. And I'm like, what? Like, what kind of it? Like, did my dog die? What the fuck is happening? Who died? And she's like, your brother had to come home last night with Macho, my dog, with Macho because he said that there were 3 huge rats in your apartment. Literally in that moment, I went like, my blood started boiling. I like got like the heebie-jeebies. Like I literally wanted to barf and cry at the same time, because like, if you know me, my biggest fear in the entire world is rodents. Like I literally, the only nightmares I have in my life are either about somebody in my life dying or rodents, like hordes of rodents attacking me, whether it's rats, mice, raccoons, possums, any kind of rodent. I have like a sick phobia of. Even the tiniest mouse, some people think they're cute. I'm like, no bitch, get that thing the fuck away from me. I'm going to strangle it. Literally in my nightmares, I have hordes of rodents like coming towards me and I have to like strangle them to death to kill them. Isn't that sick? Yeah. So she's like, yeah, he said that there were 3 rats in your kitchen and they were like screeching and fighting each other, and he just had to get the hell out of there because they were too loud. I was like, you know what, first of all, he didn't get out of there because they were too loud. He was scared too. Like, I know you're a grown man, bro, but I'd be scared. I'd get the fuck out of there too. And my poor dog, he's like so small. Like he's like the size of a rat. Like they probably thought they were brothers. He looks like a rat. But yeah, she tells me that and I'm like, fuck, dude. It's not like I was gonna come home right then. We were coming home like a day or 2 later. So I was like, oh my God, this is the worst. I was like ready to cry. Meech and his brother were like doing all these dances in the car to like cheer me up. And I was like, rats in my house. I just want to move back home. Is it too late? So when we get back to New York, we come in the apartment and I'm like shivering because I'm like, fuck, we're gonna walk in. There's gonna be rats everywhere. It's gonna be like that movie. What was that movie? You know, Wilbur? You know, the movie Wilbur, the weird guy that like loved rats. It's gonna be like Wilbur. We're gonna walk in and they're just gonna attack me. But we walk in and there's like nothing. We walk in, there's nothing in the living room. And then Meech goes to the kitchen. He's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm like, the fuck? So I go in there and there's literally, the cabinets are open. These motherfucking rats were so bold as to not only scour on my kitchen, but go up on the counter and up into the top cabinets and knock my fucking orzo pasta out of the cabinet, and it was all over the floor. Like literally, oh my God, I have the heebie-jeebies right now. So there were rats in my fucking apartment and they fucking ate my food. They got all in the cabinet. I had to literally like throw almost everything in the cabinet out, and anything I didn't throw out I like wiped with fucking bleach and Lysol. I cleaned the entire kitchen. Oh my God, I was like mortified. I was like, we need to get an exterminator here right now. Like I was calling everybody. I was calling the super, I was calling the management team or the building management company. Oh my God, I was livid. I was like, this is like inhumane conditions. Like you can't like, I understand like a mouse or something, but rats are like, they fucking give you diseases. Like there's rats in my cabinets. If I ate any of that food without knowing, I could have gotten a fucking disease. Like, so, oh wait, I forgot a part of the story. So even before Christmas, there was one night that I was here alone and I was filming a video actually, and I will actually try to find the clip from the video where I heard it. I just want the world to know that I took a 20-minute break because I think there's a mouse in my apartment and my parents are currently on their way over to save me from it, just in case. So, you know, when you think you're adulting, but you're really not. And I kept hearing from, so when you come in my apartment, if you guys saw my apartment tour, there's like that front hallway area. I kept hearing like noises from that front hallway area, and they were like, it wasn't like tapping, but it was like, it was like something like really fast, like not, it sounded like crunching, but also like walking. I don't know, it was just fucking noise. And I was like, and Macho was like freaking out. He kept like, he stood right next to me, and usually he stays right by the front door. So I heard these noises and I'm freaking out, because at this point I had just moved in and gotten like all this new furniture. And so all of the boxes that I had the furniture in it and all the packages I had gotten were just in the front. Like I hadn't broken them down yet. So it was literally just like a mound of empty boxes in the front that I hadn't broken down yet. And I was like, oh fuck. Like I went to the front hallway. I was like, oh my God, there's something in these boxes and I don't know how to fucking deal with it. So literally it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I called my parents and I was like, guys, you gotta come save me. There's something in my hallway. And they're like, Ashley, are you kidding? I was like, I'm not kidding you. Like, do you hear this noise right now? And they heard and they were like, okay, we're coming. They literally came over like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, fuck. Like I didn't move from the spot I was in until they rang the bell to let them in, because I was so freaked out. I was not going the hallway. Like no, fuck no, I wasn't going near it. And then they got here and my stepdad checks over there. He like doesn't see anything. And then because he's the nicest man in the world, he starts breaking down all the boxes out there, because also that is like, ugh, my least favorite thing to do ever is like break down boxes and like recycle and shit. Like, oh my God, I always have a pile of boxes in my hallway because I just let them build up and build up and build up. I hate it. So he starts breaking down all the boxes for me, and when he gets to the bottom, he realizes that like the corner of the wall, or like up against the wall where like the molding meets the floor, there's this huge gaping hole in the fucking floorboard. And he calls my mom over, and my mom looks and she's like, oh my God, Ashley, there's something chewing through your floor. And I was like, what? Like, is that the fucking noise I heard? There's literally this gaping hole in my floor. Mind you, I live on the first floor, and right below me is like the basement and like the garbage area. Ugh, disgusting. I know. Why did I choose this apartment? I'm so fucking stupid. So what they do is they take like Brillo pads, like steel wool, and like some paper and shit, and they basically stuff the hole just until it could get fixed. It still hasn't been fixed. I haven't gone over there. Ooh, I'm not touching it. So they basically stuffed it so that like nothing could come through and they could stop chewing, because like steel wool, it like cuts their mouth or whatever. So she stuffed it, and then I thought that was like it with the rat situation. But then the thing happened over Christmas, and I was like, oh fuck. They couldn't get in one way, so now they're coming in the other fucking way. They're trying to attack me. So after Christmas, we came home, we saw that, we just cleaned up, and then we just like, I don't know, we didn't really even know how to deal with it. Like we called the building management company, but like nothing was happening yet. Like we just kind of had to like see what happened. Like we hadn't heard or seen the rats yet. So we didn't like really have anything to go off of other than like what my brother said and what was like, and how we came home to the kitchen, like the state the kitchen was in. So then like 2 days later, it's still like Christmas break. So Meech and I both don't have work. So we're just here one night. I think we had a few drinks and we were just like in the room. I think we went to bed. Yeah, so we went to bed and we had like, I think snacks in bed or something. And then we started hearing noises in the kitchen. And I was like, babe, do you hear that? And he's like, oh fuck, I do. So he gets up, and mind you, we're like in pajamas, and his pajamas are like his wife beater and his underwear. So he gets up barefoot, goes out, like opens the bedroom door and goes out, and the moment he like steps out into the little hallway area next to the bedroom, a rat fucking bolts across from the living room back to the kitchen, and we freak the fuck out. Like he runs back in the room, he shuts the door. I'm like, shut the door, it's gonna get in, it's gonna get in. I was so fucking scared. So then I'm like, babe, like no. He's like, no, you need to call the super first thing in the morning. Like, nah, he needs to come back because this is crazy. Like they're too bold. And my poor dog was out here like, oh my God, what if they like touched him? Ugh. So then the next day the super comes like right in the morning, like first thing in the morning, and he checks and they're like, are you sure it wasn't a mouse? Are you sure it wasn't a mouse? Like, we don't have rats. I'm like, no motherfucker, that thing was huge. It was absolutely not a mouse. I know what a mouse looks like and I'm scared of those too, but I'm not this scared of those things. Like that thing was like this big. It was not, a mouse is like this big. This fucking thing was like a kitten, the size of a goddamn kitten, and the fucking tail was so long and it was so big that like when it scurried across the floor past Meech, I could hear its fucking fingernails on my goddamn floor. That thing was not a mouse. Absolutely not. So I was pissed that he was even trying to tell us that it was a mouse. Me and Meech were like, nah bruh, it was a rat. It was a straight up fucking Subway rat. It was not no mouse. If it was a mouse, I would just put a fucking glue trap down, maybe bring my mom's cat over, but I'm afraid these fucking rats are gonna attack the cat if she comes over. So nah, you gotta handle this. So then they check the kitchen. They don't find any holes. That's why they kept trying to tell us like if it was a rat that big, like there would have to be a hole for it to fit through. And I'm like, well, fucking find it, because I'm not going crazy. Like a mouse couldn't knock over a box of fucking orzo pasta all over my kitchen floor or get through the fucking cabinet door on the upper cabinet. Like a mouse can't do that. So he doesn't find any holes, but he put some rat poison down, which like kind of worried me because like I have a dog and I didn't want him to like eat it or anything, but he doesn't generally like eat like random things on the floor, only if he sees it's like actual food. He's not like one of those dogs that just like sniffs things and licks them. He's actually very picky. He's weird. He's kind of like his mom. So then after that, he just put rat poison down and we were like, okay, hopefully this is it. Like this is the final time we have to deal with this. But no. Of course it wasn't. We went back to work like after the new year, and every night when I came home from work, I would hear like all the nights that Meech didn't stay over, which was kind of like not very many nights because he used to stay over all the time. Before he moved in, he used to stay over all the time, so it wasn't that many nights. But any night that he wasn't here, like laying in bed with me, I was literally having like panic attacks in my sleep. I got no sleep for weeks because every single night I would just hear things. Like I would just hear noises in the kitchen and I would freak myself out. And I know for a fact they were real noises. Like I know. One night I heard like a loud ass screech, and the next morning I went into my kitchen and there was like a drop of blood. So that motherfucker like scratched himself on something or something. But like literally every night I wouldn't sleep because I would just hear these fucking rats, and then the next day I would freak out and call the super and be like, you need to get the exterminator here. And then all day during work I would be like scared that I was gonna come home and the rats ate my dog, and then I would come home and I would wipe everything down in bleach and peppermint oil because I heard that peppermint oil was like a deterrent. Didn't fucking work. I would mop the entire house. Like literally my house smelled like a candy cane for weeks because not only was it Christmas time and I had a Christmas tree, but I was mopping the entire house with peppermint oil water because I needed to get these fuckers out. Like I was literally going insane, you guys. Like every noise I heard, whether it was the heater, whether it was the pipes, because I hear a lot of noises from like the pipes because it's an old building, whether it was anybody in the hallway, whether it was the people across the hall, anybody upstairs, I thought it was a rat. Every single fucking noise. It could have been my TV and I'd be like, oh my god, it's a rat. I was literally going insane and I was getting absolutely no sleep. I was I was a hot fucking mess. So finally the exterminator comes again and he checks the kitchen again. I'm like, no dude, like you need to find where they're coming from because they're fucking here. So he finds this huge gaping hole in my cabinet where I keep my pots and pans. Literally there was a hole like this big. Like they open fucking door, come right in. Like who builds a cabinet and leaves a gaping hole there? Like you might not even know that there's rats in the building, but like just to prevent it, like anybody whoever installed those cabinets is a fucking idiot. There was no reason for that hole to be there. It's not like there was any pipe or anything that needed the hole. Like it was so fucking stupid. Like why did you build it that way? He blocked the hole with like this crazy like foam stuff, and I was like, okay, finally, like we're good. We're good. He put more rat poison just in case anything was like in the house still, which it wasn't. Which it definitely wasn't because like, yeah, it definitely wasn't. So I was like, okay, fine. This issue is resolved. Like I don't have to live with rats anymore. I can finally sleep at night, but I was still paranoid. So at night I was still awake the whole fucking time. And even though he patched up that hole, I was still hearing things at night and I thought I was going crazy, but I wasn't. So I used to have a black, like mat thing where my sink is, because you know when you wash dishes it gets like water on the floor. Just like stand there so like the water doesn't get all over the floor. So I had like a black mat right there, and one morning I wake up, I go to the kitchen and I'm like at the sink about to make my coffee, like get the water to make my coffee, and I look down and there's wood chips on the black mat, and I'm like, where did these come from? And why am I still hearing things at night? Things that sound like chewing. So I get on my hands and knees and I look under like the cabinetry, and these motherfuckers are chewing a hole through the baseboard of my cabinet. Literally, they are trying to find any fucking way to get into my house. I don't understand. Like, take a fucking hint, rats. You are not welcome here. I'm giving you all of the signs. Get the fuck out. It's like a bad breakup. Like, just leave. I don't want you here. I need a restraining order at this point because these fucking rats would not leave me alone. Okay, if like the camera angle shifted a little, it's because I had to delete some footage on my memory card to make room. So yeah, the rats wouldn't fucking leave me alone. So what did I do? I said, you know what, fuck this super. Fuck this exterminator. They're not doing anything. So all those holes that I found in my cabinets, I stuffed them with steel wool and I opened cans. my stepdad and I did this together. We stuffed steel wool in the holes so that they wouldn't chew through it. And then we took the tops of cans and we like nailed them in to the bottom of the baseboard, like wherever the hole was, so that they couldn't chew through fucking metal. Although maybe they would. I don't know. Well, they haven't been back, so thank God they didn't. And then we put duct tape over the entire like baseboard of the cabinets so they would not get the fuck through. I was paranoid for probably like another 4 months. Even still, sometimes I hear like one noise in the kitchen and I'm like, the fuck is that? Like anytime I hear a noise in the kitchen, I get super paranoid. But thankfully, that was the end of the rat issue. We have seen no rats. We put poison like everywhere after that just to make sure. But ever since then, that was probably the first 3 months that I lived here, no more rat issues. Thank God, because there was like I literally contacted my lawyer and I was like, what can I do to get out of my lease? Like, this is inhumane. I cannot live in these conditions. I need to leave. And I was like, but where do I go? I really don't want to go back home. That was the rat issue. And honestly, that was probably the biggest nightmare that we had here. So all of the other stuff I'm going to tell you about this apartment are just kind of minor because that was definitely like the major story time. But there are a lot of other things that are really fucking annoying in this apartment. Number one, we live on the first floor. We live basically in the lobby and there's no fucking soundproofing in this apartment. Like literally whoever's checking their mail right now, because I can hear them, can probably hear me too, and we can probably have a conversation right now. But there's no soundproofing. Like literally I can hear every conversation that happens in the hallway. Every time the bell is rang to let somebody in, I can hear it. Anytime anybody checks their mail, I can literally hear them turn the key and open the fucking mailbox. Anytime anybody is moving in or out, I can hear them. There's this little kid upstairs that I think he has like occupational therapy every day, so his therapist brings him into the hallway out there and like plays catch with him and stuff, which is like good for you, kid, but like shut the fuck up. There was one time I was working in my living room and I had to put on headphones because there was literally just a baby screaming in the hallway, and like how am I gonna go out there and be like, can you shut your fucking baby up, because it's their house too, you know? But like I'm just the dumbass that decided to live in the lobby. Also, so we live on the first floor, which means we live right above the basement, so water bugs everywhere. We find them, and we don't even find them alive most of the time. Most of the time we find them in corners dead, like they just plopped from the ceiling and died on the floor upside down. Water bugs, and that's not because we're dirty. Like we don't have roaches. They're just water bugs that come from like the pipes and shit. Like we're clean. Don't worry. Don't come for me. We're very, very clean. We take out our garbage. We clean our house. It's just water bugs because we live above the basement. And also millipedes. Ugh. Like literally anytime I see a millipede, I think that like somebody's dying, like because you only see millipedes in like horror movies, like crawling out of a dead person's eyes, right? Is that just me that thinks that? And then also we live in the back of the building, and right across from us, right across from our bedroom window, is the backyard of a restaurant around the corner. And the restaurant decided to build like a backyard area. Like now they serve people back there, and they also put like a TV and a sound system back there, and they never shut off their fucking sound system. So literally in the middle of the night, it'll be like Siri's voice like telling them something. I've never ever, I think it's in a different language because I've never made out what the fuck she says, but like the first night they put it, every single 10 minutes her voice came on, and it's literally right across from our bedroom window. Like when we're sleeping, we hear it. They watched the World Cup back there, so there was a few weekends where I knew exactly who was winning because they were chanting it while I was sleeping. I was hungover sleeping. They were chanting about the goddamn World Cup. Also, I'm a little bit afraid that we're haunted here because I don't know, like I've never, at my mom's place, we never had to change light bulbs. Like literally for years, I never had to change a light bulb in my room. But here, I've gone through like every single light fixture has at least been changed like 6 times. Like the light bulbs just go out so easily. And I don't know if it's because it's haunted or because it's just an old apartment and like the wiring is old. I don't fucking know. But another thing about the light bulbs going off, they don't just go off. Sometimes they explode. Literally, they burst when they blow out. They don't just like flicker and die. No, they fucking explode. Like one time a few weeks ago, I was standing in the bathroom. So like my bathroom sink, it's like the medicine cabinet and above it has 3 light bulbs. And I was standing there naked about to get in the shower. I think I was like extracting blackheads or something naked in the mirror. I don't remember. I was just standing there about to get in the shower and all of a sudden a fucking light bulb explodes all over my naked body. I was naked. I was vulnerable. A light bulb exploded all over me. I was literally so shook that I stood there for like a solid 20 seconds like, I don't know if I can move. If I move, I will bleed. I'm just gonna bleed out right in this fucking spot because a light bulb exploded all over me. So we're not allowed to install a washer dryer in this apartment, like it's on our lease, and I'm pretty sure in the entire building is like that, but I'm almost positive somebody above me has a washer and dryer, because sometimes in the middle of the night you'll just hear, or like anytime during the day you'll just hear like bubbling, like blah, 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 and I'll go in my bathtub. Oh, this is actually one of the things that happened when I first moved in. So I heard the like blah, 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 like the bubbling. I was sleeping in my room alone one night before Meech moved in. This is when I first moved in. The next morning I got up to get ready for work and I like opened the shower curtain. There was like a solid layer of bubbles just all across the bottom of the bathtub. I was like, the fuck? And then I told my mom and she's like, Ashley, what if somebody came in? I'm like, Mom, if somebody came in, if somebody broke into my apartment, do you think they broke in just to take a bubble bath and then leave? Just listen to yourself for a second. You think you're afraid that somebody broke into my apartment to take a bubble bath and then dip. What? So yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody above me has a washer dryer, because that's the only explanation as to why like bubbles would come up into my bathtub. I'm pretty sure it's like suds from laundry. So yeah, other than that, just get me the fuck out of here. I'm pretty sure that's it for this story time. I feel like I've been talking forever. Basically, the majority of the story time was about the rats, because that was literally the most traumatizing time in my entire life. Was like, oh wow, I finally got my own apartment. Oh wait, the rats got their own apartment too. I moved out alone. I wanted to live alone. I did not invite anybody until I invited Meech. I did not invite anybody to live with me. Get the fuck out. We're in the back of the building and it's just really fucking dark in here. And now that I'm here all day, every day, I'm just like, I need vitamin D. Like, can you just please give me some sun? I just need some natural light in here because the light fixtures keep exploding on me and I just can't take it anymore. So if any of you are realtors in the Brooklyn area, please hit me up because I need some help to find a new fucking place to live, because we've only got 3 more months to pay rent here and then we're the fuck out. We are out. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this story time. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did. Let me know down in the comments if you want any other story times. I've got a few. I've got some good ones. Give me some topics that you might want a story time on. And I love you all so, so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.